Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Paul here at Paul Phillips Fix. I'm going to be doing a few things on my BMW K1200R Sport. I'm going to be doing spark plugs. I'm putting in some Philips Ultinon Essential LED headlights. They are really bright. I love them. They're being ran in that W210 Mercedes, the Impala, and I'm putting in that Mercedes as well. So this is 4 vehicles that will be running these headlights. That's how much I like them. I was finding them for 49 bucks. They're getting scarce now. The only place I could find them, I think they were $189, but they're excellent lights. They don't have little fans on them. They've got a braided copper wire to cool it. It's like passive cooling, but I'm just happy with them, my preference. I'm also changing the spark plugs on this. I'm going to be doing a coolant replacement because to put the spark plugs in, I have to remove the radiator to get to them. And I have a little vacuum thing I'll show you. So this will show you guys if you ever want to flush out your coolant system and refill it. The proper way to do it is to purge the system, put a full vacuum on it, let it suck the coolant back in. It'll fill it right to the top and you'll have no air in your system whatsoever. I just want to show you some bolts here. You're going to need a T25 to remove the side panel. Oh, first, your directionals. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, a small one. Go to the back of the directional, remove the lens cover, then pull the bulb assembly out. Then you're going to remove these wires from the back of the bulb assembly. Then you can fish them out of the blinkers. To take the blinker housings off of the side of the car, of the bike, you're going to need a T30. I believe it's a T30. Then you're going to need a T25. I'm also putting a battery in. I don't know if I mentioned that. You're going to need T25s to remove all of these. Take the panel cover off. You're going to need a large Phillips screwdriver to get the screws out from the battery. There's little nuts behind here, so don't be careful not to lose them if you don't get new ones with your battery, your replacement battery. That battery's deep. It will not come out because of this little dip of plastic here. It will not clear this, so it looks like this whole tank cover has to come off. Another thing I'm doing is these bikes, because of the emissions controls, they run so lean that it's not good for the motor. You have an intake air temperature sensor. It'll measure the temperature of the air so the computer can calculate the density of the air that's flowing into the bike, and then it can adjust the air fuel mixture with that. So on a cold morning when you cold start the bike, the computer knows the air is cold and it'll dump more fuel in and make it richer so it'll start quicker. This modification I'm doing, I'll put a link for the sensor that I have. It's going to go in the side of the airbox here. Going to have to put it in the side of the airbox somewhere here. Drill a hole, silicone it in, and then wire it into the original harness on the bike. That's going to make my bike run a little bit more rich. It should make the combustion chamber temperatures a little lower and actually give me more power as well, improve the performance of the bike. So I have an aftermarket exhaust and a K&N high flow air filter. So those things by themselves have made it run even leaner than stock. So I want to compensate for that. If you guys would, please give a like and subscribe. I just blew another 400 bucks on audio equipment. I bought the Saramonic MIC UW Mic 9 set, UHF wireless mic set, so you guys could hear me better when I'm moving around and doing stuff, because GoPro mics pretty much suck. So I'm going to take my K&N air filter out. I'm going to clean that. I'm going to re-oil that. And to change your headlights in here, I tried doing it from the back at these access panels. It was a fucking nightmare. There's no other word for it. It was easier for me to remove the whole headlight assembly and take it off of the bike. So if you're doing your spark plugs, You're going to have to remove the side panels anyway. You may as well throw a better set of lights in there. If you're not, and you're just doing your headlights, you got a lot of stuff out of the way, it would be a good time to do your spark plugs. And if your battery is old, get it all done one shot. That's what I like to do, preventative maintenance. This is not a choice on the battery for me though. This battery is dead as a doornail. I am very lucky it died in my driveway. I went to go for a ride and the bike just would not start and I couldn't even charge the battery. I didn't want to try to jump it and start the bike because I could fry the alternator if the battery shorted out. So back to the screws. I'm sorry I'm so scrambled here. I wasn't planning on doing a video on this, but while I'm at it I may as well share it. So you got 1, 2, 3 screws to take your battery cover off. There's another 2 mounting screws here that hold the tank sides on. You have 1, 2, 3 screws, one up under here to remove the side panel. When you go to remove that, pull straight out on the clips that are down here, but be mindful when you were removing these clips here, you have to reach in and depress them or you can snap them off. So you're just going to push them so it'll pop out. Then you have one more fastener for the dark gray side piece, this panel here. That one has one fastener at the top and then those 2 snap-ins. Oh, also, there is one more fastener on the side piece. You see this rubber grommet? There's an E-clip. I'll show you the clip that's behind there. You have to remove that. I used a needle nose plier to get them out. Came right out with that. These little retaining clips right here. You're going to have to remove those. There's one on each side for these gray panels. And if you're doing your spark plugs, to remove the radiator, this looks like it's a fastener here that you would either use a Torx or an Allen key on. It's not. It has those clips on it. Just pull the clips out and there's a washer that goes behind the clip. Then on the bottom there's T30, 2 fasteners on the bottom here. Then you're going to have to get in here with one of those little pocket screwdrivers and depress these little locks that are on here on the front of this housing. It looks like those need to be depressed to come off of the radiator. To drain the radiator on the left side of the bike with it facing forward, there's a little petcock right down here, right there. You're going to have to turn that counterclockwise. It doesn't unthread per se. It kind of snaps and then it's loose. It'll come out, not out all the way, but it'll pull out a certain amount and the fluid will start coming out. To increase the flow, just remove the cap or loosen the cap on your reserve tank there, and it'll let air go in from here and not create a vacuum, and you can drain your radiator quicker. All right, so I didn't want to spend an hour on doing each and every one of these screws. You can figure these out, guys. Now to remove the headlight housing now. This T30, I think it's T30. Let me get a T30 and check. It might be a T35. I don't have a T35 out here, but we'll see if the T30 fits. Yep, it's a T30. So you're going to need a T30 here. There's one on that side, one on the other side, and then there's 2 down here. There's 2 more of them down here somewhere. Where the hell are they? I believe they were on the bottom. Hold on, guys. Let me get down here and see. I'm old and senile. I can't remember what I did a year and a half ago. Yes, right here. Here they are, right here. Towards the front. Can you make out where that is? Right there. There goes the other T30 that's got to come out. So it's this one and the one right down here. Just pull those out, then the whole housing will come out. You have to remove the windshield first. You have to remove these 4 T25s. Now be careful, when you loosen these, there are little stainless steel washers that fit inside the rubber grommet that's on the windshield. It's really easy to lose those, man. Be mindful of those. Loosen this up gently so it doesn't pop. Then open it. Then you can't just pull the windshield out. There's 2 forks that fit down in here. So you're gonna have to walk the windshield up this way. Don't lose those little washers that fit in the grommets. After you get the windshield off, you can remove this instrument panel cover. The back of the instrument panel is a cover here. I believe there's 2 fasteners and a couple of grommets. I know there's grommets. While you're removing these body screws, be mindful of their placement. I made a little note on my phone tab. Some of them are longer than others. Like this one that goes into this headlight housing, this one is longer than this one. So that's on this bike anyway, but I would be mindful. I like to put things back together exactly the way that they came apart with no extra parts. That's not done everywhere, especially in garages and dealerships. They just throw the extra parts away. So we're not going to have any extra parts, right guys? So I'm going to take those T30s out now. I have another container for these fasteners. Oh, I'm jumping the gun, guys. I got to get the windshield out first. Making mistakes because I'm trying to rush on video here. Remember to be mindful of those little metal washers that are in here. I actually hosed out here the other day so it'd be cleaner in case I dropped anything. I'd be more likely to find it without a bunch of crap on the floor. So if you're working outside, I recommend you clean your area up first. That way if you drop one of these little washers or something, your likelihood of finding them will increase without going crazy looking for it. Holding a windshield up against it so that washer doesn't come flying, hopefully. This is an aftermarket windscreen. I like it. Puig, P-U-I-G, I think it is. Puig, I can't pronounce it. I don't know whether it's French or what the hell it is, but nice windscreen. I noticed a little improvement with my wind protection without it looking big and awkward or anything. Just got a slightly, I think it's the dome is maybe slightly higher, more curved than the stock one. Straight up, there go those little metal washers I was telling you about. They come out of there. All right, now we're going on to the T30s. I'm on the other side here, removing that one from the side. Today all I'm going to do is change the headlights. I have Wendy here to help me. She's got little hands. Sometimes she'll have to get into stuff that I can't reach into. Excuse the sniffles, guys. I have horrible sinuses. The hay fever's been driving me insane. I'm sorry if it's annoying on the video. It's annoying living with it, believe me. I understand your pain way too well. I can't help it. It's what I'm stuck with. I forgot to take the cover off. I have to take the cover off first. I'm just going to break this one loose a little bit. I believe this needed to come out as well. I don't remember whether that just pops on there or not. Let me get my flashlight. Yeah, that just kind of snaps in there, I believe. That was one of the rubber grommets popped out. And it clips on there. That rubber grommet just slides in there. I siliconed these hoping that they would come apart without the grommet coming out, but it didn't work. They came apart easier than they went last time, though, without the silicone on them. So put a little silicone grease on them. Then you have a third T30 here that's got to come out. I knew there was a reason I had to take this cover off. You'll notice there's a mark. When you remove it, you'll be able to tell where it goes back together when you reassemble it because of that mark there. I'm going to leave that in there partially so this doesn't fall down on me. I don't remember how it comes out. They do not give you much wire to play with here. Make sure you don't lose any of these little body clips that these screws go into. All right, the two longer bolts go in the side. The two longer T30s go in the side mounting, okay? Keep track of that so you remember. I'm videoing this. I might play this back for myself tomorrow. The other three are the same. The top and the bottoms are the same. Now this just lifts out. Then you have a couple of plugs here to remove. Lift up on this tab right here. Let me move this camera over here. Now you have to push down on the back end of it, I believe, there. Push down on the back end of it. Same with this one. Push down on the back end. It bothered me that they didn't give you a little bit. They could have gave you an inch or two of wire, you know. They hardly even give you any room to get your hand in there. Nope, you got to depress on the bottom. I'm sorry, it's not on the top. There's a little lever on the bottom of the smaller plug that you have to depress. So I'm going to lay this on a towel or something when I work on it. Okay guys, I got the housing off. I brought it over here. I have an overhead light up above me, trying to help me a little bit. I laid down some cut up towels for some cushioning. So this is upside down right now. There goes the bottom where the oil cooler is. But if you look in here, if you take notice at the lights, there's a flat spot on the lights. So the flat spot is to the top here. The only problem I'm going to have right now is I can't tell whether I have that plugged in correctly or not, because that's sensitive to the polarity. They will not work if they're not in a certain way. So I'm going to have to leave these plugs accessible after I install these headlights in here to get to them. I'm going to get gloves because I don't want any of my oil from my skin getting on these lights. So I may get a pair of gloves and use them while putting this on. So it can't hurt, especially if you're using regular bulbs as well. If you get oil on your bulbs, they're going to go dead prematurely. So I'm going to unplug these. Now these have transformers on them that I'm going to have to shove down in the housing. There's enough room in there for them where they can rest down in the bottom. Now these are a bit of a pain in the ass to get out of here because they're a lot bigger than regular bulbs, and you got to work around these little hooks. So you got to push that hook down and towards the center. So the top one would be down towards the middle, the bottom one down towards the middle, and you got to go under the little loop in there to unhook them. So be mindful of your direction. I'm using a pair of needle nose pliers to get in here. I've got fat fingers and they do not fit in here. I had my fingers raw trying to do this. Got that one out. I think I had to rotate the light to get it out of there. A little bit? No. Yeah, around the wire. I had to rotate the wire to get it out. Now be careful you don't change the direction that your LED light is set in, because you'll screw the pattern up when you go to rotate the light. Make sure you're not rotating the light within its housing, because you won't get the proper beam pattern. Got to kind of walk them around this. These were decent lights, but compared to the Philips, no comparison. The Philips are a much better light. I might use these for fog lights in my car. They'd be good for that. Definitely bright enough for a fog light. Now when you have this apart, make sure this screw right here is tight, because I had this screw come loose and my clamp came off, and oh, what a fucking nightmare for me with my fat fingers. I went through hell trying to get that. Wendy had to save me with that one. Again, Wendy saves me here and there, like on a regular basis. I need saving, right, Wendy? More than I realize, probably, right? Now he's got the hook in a different position, but the light lays the same way again, with the flat spot to the top. Well, you can't see shit in here. Not a big fan of this design of clamp. I think they could have found a better way to do this. Really shitty, especially with LEDs. It's not made for LED lights, but still. Pain in the ass even with regular bulbs. Try walking it off easy over your clamp. Get them out. Now these are going to be fun. Wait till you see these lights. These are going to be even harder to get in because they have a big copper housing on the back. These have got a transformer on them. Step up the voltage. I'm sure it steps it up to a higher voltage. These things are fucking really bright. They're fantabulous. These are fantabulous. Alright, I'm not needing to glove my hand because I'm not going to touch the light. Let me just make sure it's at 90 degrees. It's at 0 degrees. What I'm talking about is degrees here. You see how this light is? This is 0 degrees, straight up and down. So the lights are out of each side. That'll give you a better pattern. Alright? You want them at 0 degrees. I'm leaving all that copper wire tied up like that till after I get this light in here. That went on way too easy. That usually doesn't work like that. I know you guys can't see anything. I'm trying to fish this down now around that hook. And I got it already. That's amazing. It usually doesn't work out that easy. Unusual. So I'm going to still leave that plat. Getting the wiring over there. You see if there's any wiring in the way in here. Up top. Straight across the back, maybe. See this wiring here? That just opens up and spreads out. You can spread it out so it dissipates the heat better. I'm just trying to spread these out with the bulk of it going down in the housing there. I'm going to see if I can fit this transformer around the back. Just as long as you're getting it away from the bulb. You want to draw the heat out away from the bulb. There's no way that's going to close, is it? You son of a bitch. This one will fit in here. Wonder if I can fit this one down inside this side and then fish it around. No, it's not gonna go. Come on, man. Usually things work out for me somehow. Somehow, some way. No way. Slight. Quarter of an inch. Not even a quarter of an inch. All right, so that one fit in no problem. Would have been great if I could have fit the other one all the way over there and ran a wire across, but the wire is not long enough for me to have done that. If I had an extension for that wire, that would have been perfect. I actually could have fit both of them in on this side. Yep, nowhere near with enough wire to make it that far. I don't think, anyway. You know, maybe. Let me see. How am I going to connect it, though? How am I ever going to plug it in? I have to try to fish it this way, then plug it. Ain't gonna work. Got another idea I'm thinking about doing. If I can fit that in there. What I was thinking about doing was drilling holes for the wire in the cap and silicone it, running it across over into there. Couple of holes in the cap, that ain't gonna work. Looks like I'm just stuck, huh? I'm just stuck, guys. What turned off? So I'm screwed with this. I'm gonna fit it as best as I can. That's the low beam. Jack that goes on there. Plug that goes there. GoPro, stop recording.